I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do this. I absolutely, positively did not want to do this. I didn't. You know why? Because it was San Francisco's turn, and it was Sacramento's turn, and it was the Bay Area. We was holding Oakland accountable. And then we moved over to Chicago because Chicago, they had a lot going on over there. The mayor was calling these gangbusters, large gatherings. They went over there and they was firing shots and shooting up near the funeral home. They said that they want their ops dead. They don't want no kind of possibility of him even breathing or faking his death. They want him dead. They taking you out your casket. Did y'all see them videos of them stealing caskets, them running into funerals and then taking the caskets? I ain't never seen such stuff in my life. Maybe we'll review one of those videos. Some of y'all not familiar with it. You over here taking care of the kids in the daycare. Shout out to all of the little kiddies in the daycare. Shout out to all of my truck drivers. Shout out to my ladies and my fellas that's working from home. Shout out to all of the housewives and the house husbands. Shout out to the house husbands. I didn't want to do this, though. I didn't want to do this. But you know that I am an equal accountability smoke giver. I am an equal accountability smoke giver, and so I have to acknowledge the bad things about our culture, not just the good things, because it's a phenomenal city. These some phenomenal cities, but I don't want to just acknowledge the good things. We got to bring all of us to the front of the congregation so that we can get this work. Make sure y'all hit a like. Let's get it popping, y'all. We're going to start in Atlanta.
But we begin this hour in Atlanta's West Side neighborhood after one person is dead and 5 others are recovering, all after a shooting.
Hold on. Before we get into this story, y'all smell that? Y'all smell that? Let me take a little sip of water. Maybe I'm smelling something different than y'all smelling. Hold on. Y'all smell that? I smell zest on the screen. Before we get into the videos, Atlanta. Did y'all replace the ladies from leading with the stories over at News and 6 at Atlanta on Fox 5 in Atlanta with zest? Listen. I'm not saying that it's true. I'm saying that it just seems like it was zest coming out of the screen. Let me rewind that. I want to give an opportunity. I just want to see what the mannerisms are. Give me a second. Let me see what's going on. Y'all tell me, am I off or is this an accurate reflection? I'm going to play it from the beginning.
Hour in Atlanta's West Side neighborhood after one person is dead and 5 others are recovering, all after a shooting. Thanks so much for choosing us for your news at 6. I'm Eric Perry. We're learning 2 of
I don't know him. I've never seen him. My first time. I'm not judging. I'm just trying to understand what the hell is happening over at Fox 5 in Atlanta, News at 6. Atlanta. What is going on in Atlanta? I'm watching y'all, Atlanta.
Of those injured include a 3-year-old and a 15-year-old. Let's get right out to Fox 5's Joy Dukes, who's live with the scene with what we know so far. Joy, I mean, 5 people, a lot to process here.
It's a lot of S's. It's a lot of S's on them S's. It's a lot of S's on them S's.
Yeah, Eric, good evening to you. Just a really sad situation here where Atlanta police believe that a domestic dispute led a teenage suspect to open fire on those 3 adults and 2 children, injuring them all before taking his own life.
Again, we see a theme of anger, intimate relationship between individuals, and a gun has led to tragedy.
A tragedy Atlanta police spent hours Sunday morning and afternoon trying to piece together after some residents of Fairburn Heights reported hearing the sound of gunfire echo through their neighborhood.
It's mostly quiet and calm down here. Every now and then you might hear some shots ringing out.
Oh, hold on, sir. Hold on, sir. Let me back up. Don't sit here and tell me that it's mostly quiet and calm, but every now and then you just regularly hear some shots ringing out. That's not normal. I never hear shots ringing out in my neighborhood. What is normal for us, y'all? What is our cultural norms? Honestly, have our cultural norms evolved to the point to where, because I remember, right? I remember the first time that I had moved out of the hood and I had got into a nice neighborhood. And it's funny because it came shortly after that I had got carjacked. But I couldn't tell if it was some form of PTSD of getting away from not losing my life as far as getting carjacked, or if it was just a cultural norm. But it took me some time to get used to it, even to the point to where when I had first moved out of the hood into a really, really, really nice neighborhood, it was crazy because nothing was open past a certain time during the weekday. In that specific area, you had to drive far and wide. And I remember because we had finished moving, and so I had drove to work the next day. I was working at the plant, and I had to drive the next day to work in the moving truck because I had to stop back by the house and get the rest of the stuff because we had put it in the garage. I had sold the house, and we was moving out into the suburbs, and we was moving to a really, really, really nice area, right? And nothing was available. Nothing was open. Everything was closed past a certain time. They said, listen, you're not even getting no gas at this time. You're going to have to go to another area if you want to go get some gas because ain't nothing available for you out here. But then when I would go to sleep at night, it's crazy because I couldn't hear nothing but crickets. I couldn't hear nothing but crickets. And it wasn't until I went back and I revisited the hood that I realized that hearing sirens and people walking past your house and gunshots and stuff like that that's happening, that became our cultural norm. And the reason why I named this live stream New Rules is because I want you guys to divest yourself from what it is that you've seen as normal. That's not normal. That's not normal for us to continue to put these traumas on ourselves and on our children. And just because we went through it, we think it's cool in order to do it. You know, I hate when I hear people say, yeah, you book smart, but you're not street smart. Don't you know it's people that ain't never been in the street before, that ain't never gonna go to the street, and they ain't never got to worry about being finessed in that type of way? It's people that grow up in private schools and with suits on, and they're never ever going to experience what it is that you need in order to be street smart because they don't find themselves in those spaces, and that's not their cultural norm. Don't you know it's weird when I take my daughter through certain neighborhoods and she be like, yo, fam, we need to get up out of here. This ain't normal. We need new rules. And if you establish new rules, you'll have a new cultural norm because what you accept as regular will no longer be normal.
Authorities say the call about multiple people shot at a home on Adkins Road came in just after 10 a.m. There they found the suspected shooter, an 18-year-old male, dead on scene.
There was some type of ongoing dispute, domestic in nature, inside the home this morning that escalated to the gunfire, where the subject shot all 5 victims, then again shot himself.
18-year-old. Some form of a domestic dispute. Yo, that's not normal, y'all. That's not normal. What we've come to accept as a cultural norm is not normal. That's not normal to be having some kind of argument or dispute or something that's going on in your household, and then an 18-year-old take a pistol and then kill everybody in the house, including the 3-year-old, the 10-year-old. Everybody got to go, and then I'm going to turn it on myself, and that's the end of the conversation. That's not normal. That's not normal. This is weird. This is weirdo stuff. This is not what life is supposed to be like for us. Why do we think that this is something that we should be subjecting ourselves to? This ain't normal. This is not regular. Shout out to Atlanta.
2 children ages 3 and 15 were among the victims.
3 and
Medics rushed
15.
all 5 to the hospital for treatment while investigators work to gather evidence at the home where resident Steve Durden says he's noticed unusual activity in recent months.
They moved in, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago. It's been a lot of activity. I actually just
Moved in the neighborhood and ruined the neighborhood 6 months ago. Now we got the police and the yellow tape, the caution tape, wrapped around their crib. And y'all say that we not supposed to profile. We not supposed to pay attention. The thing that kept the neighborhood safe, the reason why my block was a place where we can go outside and play basketball and ride our bikes, and we were scared to go all the way down to Cherry Lawn because we knew that it was a possibility for the raid van and for all of the crack houses was down on Cherry Lawn. Cherry Lawn was only like 4 blocks up the street. We stayed on Green Lawn between Norfolk and Chippewa, right? And we were safe over in that area because everybody was nosy. The neighbors across the street, if they seen you getting into some stuff, shout out to Miss Rivers and Mr. Rivers. It's funny. My first experience of a black and a white couple, Mr. Rivers was a postman. He retired. He had 2 daughters. They wind up buying a house that was next door to us, and then the house that was next door to them. Phenomenal. Miss Rivers regularly looked out for the people. She was a white woman. Miss Rivers, I still go by that street today and check on Miss Rivers because Miss Rivers was always focused on, hey, is something going on out there? Let me go call the neighbors. We're going to all get together, make sure that nothing happened, make sure that the kids, whenever they would see kids playing outside, they all knew each other's kids and everything like that. The neighbors was nosy. Now we've changed to where we say, mind your business. We have completely reversed the thing that made our communities great in the first place. Even when we didn't have anything, we built it up because we stuck together and we worked together to make it a safe place for everybody to be able to exist in. We've completely rearranged what the rules are of what greatness is by saying that mind your business. No, don't mind your business. If you see something, do something. If you need to do something, then you need to go ahead and get that police officer on the phone and make sure that they check it out. We want to know what the welfare of the people is that's going. Man, don't you know that they finding people that's decomposed inside of houses that ain't never been checked on ever because we no longer have any attachment to each other and we no longer care about what it is that's best for the community? And so now stuff like this happens because we're not vetting effectively. You call it discrimination. I call it profiling properly in order to make sure that you are going to fit in with the cultural norm. In every other situation, in every other industry, being culturally accepted matters. When you go onto a job, part of the interview, and the reason why they're interviewing you is not so they can substantiate whether or not you can do the technical work. They can do that from a distance, online, whatever. They can vet that out just by asking you questions and being able to source that. That part of the interview ain't going to take but 10, 15 minutes in order to know whether or not you actually know what you're talking about as far as the job. The other 45 to an hour and a half of the interview, and the reason why they have a panel, they have one technical lead, and then they have HR, and then they have the manager, and they have multiple different people as a part of it because they want to know that you are easy to work with, that you're somebody that you can get along with. You need to be a cultural norm. You need to be able to be accepted. You need to not be a stickler. You need to not be the person that always want to call and everybody. You need to be culturally accepted and somebody that people want to work with in order to be able to level up and even join that organization. They call you a Googler, not a person that works at Google, a Googler for a reason. And so that is accepted in every other industry, including anything that you network with. When you get accepted into the country club, when you go in and get accepted in certain friend groups, you have to fit in and you have to adjust. If you go over into a sorority or a fraternity, they're going to tell you what the rules are. And if you can't abide by the rules, then you're going to be up out of here. But the only place that it exists where you should be able to do what you want to do when you want to do it is in the hood. And the things that we accept as a cultural norm has now been turned against us to allow for us to destroy each other. And that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
pray for everybody in the house, in particular the small children.
Police Chief Darren Shearbaum said this was one of several domestic disputes his officers have been called to just this weekend. He urged people to reconsider resorting to violence.
We cannot be present in every living room. We cannot be present in every setting of a home where we need others to be able to intervene to stop violence occurring.
Let me switch it over. Let's go over to Detroit and see what the cultural norm is. Let's check it out, y'all.
Well, we know the family's absolutely devastated, but they have so many questions, too, in terms of the investigation. Police are still trying to piece a lot of things together themselves, but the family has questions relating to how can something like this happen when their daughter tried to do the right thing.
I'm going to be reading Super Chat shortly. This has happened over in Detroit. This just recently happened in Detroit where a 27-year-old mother, pretty girl, out at the wrong time, tried to break up a fight inside of a Coney Island, and now she no longer here with us. We just was having this conversation. On Monday night about crashing out for a chick that said that she got hit with a brick in the head and why ain't nobody do nothing about it. I'm going to show you why.
She led with her heart. She would give you the shirt off of her back. She was always helping people.
LaDonna Kim says that's exactly what her daughter was doing when her life was stolen from her over the Labor Day weekend. Family members say 27-year-old Donnay Wilbert was gunned down at Hollywood Coney Island on Detroit's west side early Sunday morning, not long after she tried to break up a fight.
We had to even tell her, like, you can't pull over in your car when you by yourself because you see somebody on the road and they need help because it's dangerous out there. But she was kind of like the type of person that would have to, like, try or see for herself.
It started with Donnay and her girlfriends having a fun night out. They went to the Coney Island for a bite to eat when an argument developed between two men and a woman, according to sources.
She just wanted everybody to go home and get home. And I'm very sure in my thoughts of knowing that she wanted to get home. I guess the guy followed her out and she was able to get herself out of the restaurant and she was shot in the parking lot.
Sad, man. Sad, man. It's sad. It's a sad situation. Because you can't even say that this woman did anything wrong. But now we've devolved so much to the point to where you don't even look at women as women anymore. They look at them like, who you talking to and what made you think that you could speak to me and what made you think that you can come in between me and an argument between this chick. I'm going to follow you out to your car because you tried to intervene with what it is that I thought that what was supposed to happen inside of this. Man, listen, let me tell you something what we used to do. Shout out to all of my people that used to go to Sherrill Forest, Coney Island on Livernois between 7 Mile and 8 Mile. That used to be the spot. Shout out to all of my people, Capitol, Coney Island on 8 Mile in Wyoming. Used to be the spot. Coney Island is the spot in Detroit. Not the one downtown, but all of the hood Coney Island. Shout out to all of the great Coney Islands out here in these streets. It used to be a time where you would go out, you would have fun, you would hit the streets, you would go bowling, you would go to the parties, you would go to the bars or whatever. And when the bars closed at 2, or when you left the bars at 1 before, because you don't want to be there when the lights cut on, because then you're going to be seeing some ooga boogas. You used to go over and hit the Coney spot, right? And so you would hang out at the Coney because nobody was ready to go home. And so we knew we didn't have to get up in the morning because it was going to be Saturday morning, so we would hit the Coney spots, right? Can't do that no more. It's a death trap. You can't do that no more. It's a death trap. Real talk, it's different now.
Although we couldn't actually touch her when we went to go view her based upon the circumstance, she even had a smile on her face as
Good
we
parents.
had to observe her.
Good parents.
In her last state.
She was doing the right thing, and that's what angers me.
Detroit activist Pastor Mo works with many community groups teaching de-escalation techniques to quash beefs before they ever can turn violent. He offered this advice for safe conflict resolution.
Make sure you're in a lighted area. Read body language. Look and see if they're reaching. Look and see if there's anything poking out their waist.
I got a suggestion. I mean, this seemed like a really nice guy and a good brother. He got his buffs on, got the wood buffs on and everything like that, seems like he's doing the right thing in the community, I got a completely different set of advice. Don't even find yourself in a situation to even begin with, as far as making sure, and shout out to Aaron, I'm going to definitely be reading that super chat shortly. Don't even put yourself in a situation to where you would have to intervene. When you see stuff happening, unfortunately, the new rules is, the name of this live stream is called New Rules, is you just got to walk away. You're going to have to leave. I hate to say it. But when I see a group of people that may or may not look like me all in one area, when I see the gas station is flooded with people and they out there in Dodge Chargers and Challengers and Hellcats and Altimas and all of that type of stuff, walk on by. I just got to keep going. I can't stop. If I go to a spot and it seems to be a little bit too ghetto, I got to walk on by. If I see a group of people and they being too loud in a specific neighborhood, I got to pass on that real estate. Location. The best form of protection that we got to give our women nowadays is not just to stay strapped up, but not even to be engaged in the first place. Don't go out past a certain time. Don't be in certain areas. Be under the covering of your father or your man. And don't even put yourself in it. It's unfortunate. You can't even go out anymore. When I'm not driving one of the electric cars, I'll make sure that the gas car is fully gassed up, because I don't want you stopping nowhere between the destination that you got to go to and then getting back here. I don't want you at a gas station, right? I'm not going to let my daughter be out here driving. That's why my daughter need to be under my covering. That's why she don't necessarily need to be living by herself. Everything that she could do, that she would want to do on her own house, she can have her own little wing. I'm going to make sure that your car got gas in it. Don't worry about it. Full tank. Anywhere you need to go. From here to Ohio, you can get there and back, and you should not be stopping at a gas station at all. You should not be stopping at a gas station at all. I'm going to make sure that you're good. I can't let that happen. I can't let you operate out here in these streets, because it's bad, and our cultural norms have absolutely, positively gone down the drain. It just is what it is. It's a reality.